Hey, what's going on there, guys? Nick here from Absolute MTG, and today we are taking a look at another Magic the Gathering product opening. And the product that we have here today is the Theros event deck, and it is Inspiring Heroics. It is a blue-white event deck. It comes with a 60-card deck with 10 rares and a 15-card sideboard, and it also includes a spin-down die in here as well. So let's get cracking. Let's open it up and see what we have. I stopped at my local card shop, Top Deck Cards and Games, to pick up one of these. It was like right around 20 bucks. I think it was like 22 bucks plus tax. So it's a pretty good price for this type of a product. If you guys want to purchase one online, there's going to be a link down in the description below. So let's see what we have. These event decks are always cool because they are a great way for players to be able to get a deck and to at least kind of have a start into playing competitive Magic, or to get a more solid deck pretty much put together. So this slides out. We have our box here, and inside of this box we have our insert for how to play Magic. There is also a insert for the event deck as well, which folds out. It gives you the deck list, talks about the main deck and the sideboard, and what the sideboard is pretty much for you guys that aren't into competitive Magic as much. Maybe you're a little bit more new to the whole competitive scene and whatnot, but it talks about that. And then there's the How to Play Magic guide, which I'll put those off to the side here. And then we have our spin down die, which has the Theros symbol on it, which is pretty cool. So now let's actually take a look at this deck and the cards that we get inside. There's also a divider that you can use for the main deck and the sideboard, so you can separate those. Let's take a look at the main deck first, because that, of course, is pretty important. So for our deck here, we have Hopeful Eidolon, and we have 3 of those. We have a Soldier of the Pantheon, one of our rares, 2/1 for 1 white, pro, multicolor, and whenever an opponent casts a multicolored spell, you gain 1 life. So I'll start taking the rares and putting them kind of like to the top, so we can take a look at them afterwards. We have Dryad Militant, our 2/1 for essentially 1 for us here. We have Imposing Sovereign, another one of our rares. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped, and it's 2/1 for 2. We have 2 of those, actually. That's pretty sweet. And we have a Precinct Captain, so 2/2 for double white. First strike, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 white soldier creature token onto the battlefield. So put that there. We have a Battlewise Hoplite. We actually have multiples. I think we have 2 of those. 3. Nice. Pretty sweet. We have New Prov Guildmage. Frontline Medic, another one of the rares. So Battalion, and whenever Frontline Medic and at least 2 other creatures attack, creatures you control are indestructible this turn. And we can sacrifice it and counter target spell with X in its mana cost unless its controller pays 3 mana. We have Banisher Priest. We have 2 of those. We have a Fabled Hero, 2/2 for 3, double strike, and whenever you cast a spell that targets Fabled Hero, put a +1/+1 counter on Fabled Hero. We have Lay of Sky Knight, 3/1 for 3, flying, and whenever it enters the battlefield, we get to detain. We actually have 3 of those, that's pretty sweet. Ascended Lawmage, 3/2 for 4, flying hexproof. Skymark Rock, you can bounce. Whenever it attacks, you get to return target creature defending player controls with toughness 2 or less. We have Lavinia of the 10th, 4/4 for 5, pro red. And whenever it enters the battlefield, detain each non-land permanent your opponent's control with converted mana cost 4 or less. So pretty sweet. Another pretty cool rare for us. Definitely nice to have on the higher curve end of this deck. We have our Azorius Guildgates here. So we have 4 of those. Pretty sweet. We also have a Hallowed Fountain, which is nice. It's always nice whenever they include some rare dual lands in these. So you make back some money off the Hallowed Fountain. It's about like 8 to 10 bucks, somewhere around there, 7 to 10 bucks, depending on where you look to find them. And that's just a rough guess, at least. The Shocklands are always pretty cool. For our basics, we have some plains, and we're of course going to have some islands, but we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 plains, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 islands. And then we have God's Willin. We have Ordeal of Heliod. We have a Pacifism. 2 of those. We have Ordeal of Thassa, to allow us to draw cards off of the sack of Ordeal. We have Dauntless Onslaught, allowing us to target multiple creatures of ours and trigger off their heroic. And we have 2 Detention Sphere. Wow, that's actually surprising. I didn't look at this deck list beforehand, just because I wanted to just kind of see what's inside of here for the first time while I'm opening this. But Detention Sphere is definitely a pretty solid rare to have in this type of a deck. It's definitely a good start for a lot of players to have Detention Spheres, and also have something like Hallowed Fountain as well, because Hallowed Fountains are great. It's always great to have Shocklands whenever you're trying to build decks and appropriately fix your mana. So whenever it enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-land permanent not named Detention Sphere and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent. Whenever Detention Sphere leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to the battlefield under its owner's control. We have 2 of those. That's pretty awesome removal. So that is our main deck here. Now let's take a look at our sideboard. So if I can open this on up. They package the main deck and the sideboard a little bit differently with the material that they use and how they package it. But we have Triton Tactics. We have 2 of those. We have Glare of Heresy to be able to exile permanents. So if our opponent has things like Detention Sphere, or if they're playing something more expensive like Elspeth, Sun's Champion, we get to be able to exile them. So we have 2 of those. We have Gainsay, which we can counter target blue spell. We have 2 of those. So good up against other decks that are running like a lot of blue spells, especially like counter magic as well. We have Negate, where we can counter target non-creature spell. We have 2 of those. We have Arrest, and we can have Enchanted Creature not be able to attack, block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. We have Solemn Offering to be able to destroy artifacts and enchantments, and we also gain a little bit of life back from it. We actually have 3 of those. It's pretty sweet. And then we have Gift of Orzhova as the last card in the sideboard here. So Gift of Orzhova is going to enchant one of our creatures. It gets +1/+1, has flying, and also has lifelink, making it pretty good up against those matchups where your opponent is dealing a whole lot of damage based on like creatures and other burn spells and stuff like that. So overall, I think it's a pretty sweet deck. It's definitely not going to be like at its prime with how they make these event decks. Like there's always room for improvement and things that you can add in. So probably like one of the biggest things is that White has a few other things that are going to be able to target, like the Dauntless Onslaught. You can of course add in some more of those to be able to trigger off like the heroic from the creatures that you have. Of course, if you're able to get cards like Fabled Hero, which isn't too expensive, it's a rare, but it's not an expensive rare. If you're able to get and find and be able to put in more Fabled Heroes into this deck, it's definitely going to make it a lot better, and you get to play around with more heroic triggers as well. Likewise, whenever you're looking at cards like Battlewise Hoplite, you can find more cards that out of just Theros packs, like the commons and uncommons, you should be able to find more heroic, like white or blue creatures that will ultimately like help you out there to have more, kind of like more fuel for this type of a deck to have synergy. But Battlewise Hoplite, I would probably add in one more of those. I think there's also Favored Hoplite in Theros as well, which is just, I think that's the name of it at least. It's a 1/2 for 1 white, and then it has heroic where whenever you trigger, heroic's going to trigger whenever you target it with one of your own spells, and it gets a +1/+1 counter, and it prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to it, or prevent all damage, something along those lines. But there's also that one drop for white that you can play in there. But overall, I think the deck is pretty sweet. If you mess with it a little bit and find some more ways to interact with the heroic mechanic, I definitely think it can be a lot better. But just to start off with a deck to take to like casual FNM and stuff like that, or even just to play it at home, I think this is a pretty sweet deck to have. And it's definitely worth the money if you are kind of new to Magic and you just kind of want to broaden the horizon in terms of what decks you can play, what colors you can play, and the cards that you have. And you do get some rares out of this as well, so that's always a plus side to it. So let me pull out the rest of the stuff, because I didn't pull out all of this stuff out of here. So we did have the Detention Spheres, we had the Lavinia, Fabled Hero, Frontline Medic, Soldier of the Pantheon, 2 Imposing Sovereigns, Priest and Captain. I don't know if that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we're still missing one. There's one more rare that's in here that I forgot to grab. Oh, it's the Hollow Fountain. That's what it was. So that's our 10th rare here. So to recap the rares, we have Hollow Fountain. We have 2 Detention Spheres. We have Lavinia of the 10th. We have a Fabled Hero, Frontline Medic, Soldier of the Pantheon, Imposing Sovereign as a 2 of, and a Precinct Captain. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this unboxing video here. It's a pretty sweet product, like I said before, and like I mentioned before, it's probably better for newer players more than anybody that like already has a huge card collection and whatnot. Especially if you've been playing throughout the most recent sets that have been out for Magic. But it's definitely a cool product for anybody that just wants to get a little bit more into competitive Magic, and it's a great way to start it out. So the links are down in the description below where you guys can purchase one of these online. And there are some more links down there that you guys should check out, like the Facebook page and whatnot. So be sure to check that out if you have some free time. And until next time, guys, peace out.